am just, Carrie's packed up, and since I'm still sitting here, I'm just going to quickly I'm going to circle back to the things that I needed to tell you all about for the shop. If you're joining me here, my name's Caroline. If you're seeing this for the first time and you haven't watched the other video yet, my name's Caroline. I'm the owner of Evertote. We are a small online business in London, Ontario, Canada. We specialize in things for cross stitchers, project bags, projects. We kit them up, and we're the exclusive seller of the Roxy Flosstube products. So I've got quite a bit of shop things to tell you about today. So I tried really hard not to fill up our Flosstube video with it. So I have a few things that I wanted to talk about in more detail. So that's what this video is about. I am going to be talking about our retreats hosted by Evertote, the Roxy Floss Co. Floss Club, the Roxy Floss Co. mini hanks that new mini hanks that we've just listed in the shop today. I'm going to be talking about the coffee, C is for Coffee, Heartstring Samplery Stitch Along starting February 14th. I've got some new charts in the shop that I'm going to be talking about today, as well as Hearthside Craftworks. I'm going to be telling you about some new accessories that we've got available, as well as talking about the waitlist for Hearthside Craftworks. So those are all the things I'm going to be talking about today, in pretty much that order. Oh, one more thing, the holiday countdown. I'm also going to be talking about the holiday countdown 2023 box. But I'm going to save talking about the holiday countdown box to the very end, because if you watched our video, our Flosstube video, I did end up going into great detail on the holiday countdown box at the very end of our Flosstube video. So I will save that to the end of this video as well, in case you've already seen it. You don't have to sit through it again. So let me just make myself a note so that I remember to tell you about that last, and then I'll follow the order of my list here. Tried to be as organized as possible. It's been a while since I did daily videos in December over on my other channel off the Grid Needlearts, and you really do get into that habit of recording videos and feeling like I'm talking to you. And so there's been a bit of a hole in my day-to-day life not having that sort of daily connection. So it's been really nice today to get back into doing some filming. So the first thing I would like to talk about are our retreats. We have 4 weekends of retreats this year. We have our Stitch North retreats, which are happening the very last weekend of April and the first weekend of May. Those retreats are taking place in Brampton, Ontario. And our 2 weekends are currently full. We are at waitlist capacity for both weekends of Stitch North. But if you are interested in the information that I'm just briefly going to tell you about the Stitch North retreat, please feel free to email Hannah at evertote.ca. That's Hannah at evertote.ca, and please add your name to the wait list. Most of the people who have been on the wait list up until now have all been able to get into the weekend of their choosing. So please email us if you'd like to come. So like I said, the retreat is happening in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. It is, well, it's not next door to an airport. It is fairly close to the Toronto Pearson Airport, and transportation is available from the airport in numerous ways. And Hannah, we have a Facebook group. We have a Stitch North Facebook group. You're welcome to join us over there if you'd like to ask any questions or if you need any more information. Many of the members over on that group were with us last year and can frequently jump in with some helpful information. We do have a link for the hotel block. There should still be some rooms available. I don't think the block is quite full. If you still need to book your hotel room for Stitch North, feel free to check out the Facebook group. All of the information is posted on there, including the links for the hotel rooms. As we get closer and closer, we'll probably, Hannah and I will probably do a video together to try and answer any questions that we see that pop up quite frequently about the Stitch North retreat. We do have, we have some returning vendors and some new vendors who will be joining us this year. We look forward to introducing the new ones to you and letting you know who's going to be there. We'll do that a little closer to the time. It's a fantastic, relaxing weekend of friendship and stitching. There will be a smalls exchange. I think we should probably get on that fairly soon. If you haven't considered your small already and you'd like to join in, we'll probably start. It's a busy workshop here, so there's going to be some happenings going on in the background. I'm just going to have to carry on. We haven't picked a real, like, I get asked this all the time, what is the theme for the retreat? And you know what, I'm not good at thinking in things that way, because if I were making a small, I would just want to choose a pattern that I loved, that I would like to share. So that's why friendship was a really loose theme. You know, you could use, give me some ideas, leave me some comments below, or maybe we should start a new post in the Facebook group for those who are participating in the smalls exchange. I'm often asked if there's going to be a freebie table. There is a small freebie table. We don't have a lot of table space, extra table space inside the ballroom. And so if you would like to bring a few things for the freebie table, you are welcome. Please do not bring bags of stuff, bags of charts, boxes of stuff, boxes of charts and magazines. They frequently tend to get rifled through and left. You know, one or two things might disappear, but the remainder is left behind. And guess who has to tidy it up and take it all home back to London? That would be me. So please, if you would like to, okay, I've just asked them to move down the hall so they can talk somewhere else. So yes, I do understand, you know, people wanting to share their goodies with others. It's just that everything that gets left behind has to be cleared away by me and my team. So if you could just limit yourself to just a couple things. You have to remember, we have 225 people, you know, scheduled to come. So 225 people, if you all bring a bag full of stuff for the freebie table, you can easily imagine how overwhelming that would be. So please, please try to keep it to a minimum. Very much appreciated. We do have a pizza party on the Friday night that is included in the registration fee, and it is catered by the hotel, by the Marriott. So we are able to accommodate dietary restrictions such as vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, etc. We did this last year. There was one particular pizza that was missed. I think Heidi, I think it was your dietary restrictions that were missed by the hotel, but they did a pretty darn good job generally, and yeah, it's a fun night. So pizza party. So again, we'll have all of those posts will be coming up in the Facebook group, as well as emails to our Stitch North attendees coming from Hannah in the weeks ahead. The second retreat, the second 2 weekends of retreats that we are hosting are the Jacob Palooza retreats. This is so exciting to me. I can't even, I find it difficult to talk about without sounding like a complete nut job, because I've known, first of all, I've known about Jacob, the designer, Jacob de Graaf, Modern Folk Embroidery. I've known about Jacob's designs since very early on in his career. He was designing things. I saw him in a magazine. I can't remember which magazine it was because it was so long ago, but it was one of his first articles that he'd ever had where it was an interview done with Jacob. And I can't tell you how wonderful meaningful it was to me to look at his designs and finally feel like I'd found a designer who felt like home, felt like designs that I could, if I had desert island stitching and I couldn't choose any other designs in the world ever to stitch ever again, geometric, monochromatic, birds, flowers, trees, done in such a way that really made my brain, it just ticks all the boxes in my brain. And so I've admired him for so long, for so many years. And then starting, you know, recording Flosstube videos, I believe that through my stitching of his that I was doing, I was probably selling a lot of charts for Jacob. And, you know, he sort of heard about who I was, and, you know, who's this girl in Canada who keeps talking about all my stuff. And, you know, we kind of struck up a conversation and a little bit of a, you know, international communicative friendship, and that has continued to grow throughout the years. And through Evertote now, we've been able to collaborate and work together for the last few years, and it's been a highlight. It's been a definite highlight, an absolute pleasure. He's amazing to work with. I cannot say enough good things about him, about Jacob. He's amazing. So the fact that I have been able to convince him to come to Canada and have these 2 weekends where we're able to invite other people to come to London, Ontario and meet Jacob and work on some beautiful stitching with the man himself is, I'm so excited. I'm really just, I'm over the moon. I can't believe it. So we still have some space in both weekends. The first weekend is a little more full than the second weekend. I probably could have just stuck with one weekend, frankly, and just maybe had a little bit bigger space and packed the room a little bit more full. However, you have to remember that bringing someone from the Netherlands is not an inexpensive endeavor. And, you know, I do wish to make this worth Jacob's while financially in order for him to come here, because, you know, he's taking a big chunk of time out of his work schedule to come. It's not just a vacation to Canada. So in order to make it financially viable, I was hoping to try and, if not fill, to be able to have 2 weekends so that we could have more people come. And I didn't want to have big, gigantic rooms where, you know, it would be, you know, that we wouldn't be able to have sort of, you know, you don't want to see a tiny speck at the front of the room. You'd like to actually be able to see and meet Jacob. So we have capped the numbers at 175 people for each weekend. And it's at the London Convention Center here in my town. And so we had about 175 people at the First Stitch North last year, and it is a great number. It feels like a big group, but not an overwhelmingly big group. And I've seen the room that we're going to be in because I booked the space, and I think it's going to be great. We'll have Jacob when he's speaking to us, you know, sort of giving us the story behind the designs, as well as historical information, and also a few tutorials along the way. This is all of the information about what's included for the registration fee can all be found on the website, and I'll have links in the drop down box below. He'll be on a mic so that everyone can hear him, and also there will be an accompanying YouTube video for the tutorials that he's going to be teaching us, so that in case you need a couple of the steps repeated, there will be an exclusive YouTube link for you while you're at the event itself that you can you know, click and watch it while you're there, so that anything can be clarified, because he's not going to be able to get around to 175 individual people for help. But that way you can maybe have a bit of help while you're there, and still be able to carry on if you have a few questions. And of course, my whole team is going to be there for the whole weekend as well. So yeah, we're really excited, really, really excited. So all of the details, everything that's included in, there are 2 projects. You've got your choice of projects to choose from. One is a massive sampler, and the other one is a much smaller, original Jacob design, a friendship sampler. And if you'll notice, I might have mentioned this before, but if you notice in the middle of Jacob's medallion, he has some initials in there, and it looks like what says IDJ2CH. That's Jacob using his old-fashioned old-timey letters where the I was used instead of the J. So that is Jacob DeGraff to Caroline H, which is me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So those are our 2 retreats that we are hosting in 2023. We cannot wait to see you, the whole team. We had so much fun at Stitch North last year. We will have Matt and Hannah will be there again at Stitch North, and I do hope to add 1 or 2 more of our team here those weekends. I'm not quite sure yet who was able to come, because of course you have to come, they have to come for the whole weekend. So I'll have to still see who is able to come, but there will be 1 or 2 more of the Evertote team. And at the Jacob weekend, you'll likely meet our entire Evertote team. We will also have open workshop. There is no way we can take our entire workshop of stuff over to the convention center. We'll probably have a small table set up with a few things. We will, you know, we'll have the ability for you to pre-order. Oh, and that's also, I should mention that about Stitch North. Last year, we offered a Stitch North kit, which had a project bag and an original chart designed by Patty Brake, 4 boys and an NL girl, and we are going to be doing the same thing again this year. We're still working out the details for that, but we are going to have a very firm cutoff date for placing those pre-orders to ensure that we have enough time to make sure that everything is done and ready to go for us to pack and take. Because of course we're dealing with 2 weekends this year, not just 1, and we only have a week in between those 2. And so we would really like to get ahead of the game. And so that's why those orders, the time frame for the orders will be a little bit tighter than it was last year. But yeah, Jacob Palooza, we will have a table set up at the event itself, but also we'll have the ability for you to come and visit us here at the shop. We might have to limit the hours based on, you know, who's at the convention center and who's here, but we'll work all that out. If you have any questions, leave them down below. You can leave us a comment below, or you can email us, caroline@evertote.ca or hannah@evertote.ca. Now, just a note about that, we have had at least one or two customers. These are the only 2 that I know about. I'm sure there's a host of others that I don't know about, where we receive your email and we respond, and you never get our response. And so we were, this one particular customer from Germany, I think we've had 5 or 6 emails, and don't worry, she's been nothing but polite. She's been perfectly polite and pleasant. It's just that she's not getting our responses. So if that happens, if you have emailed us numerous times and you're not getting a response from us, if I could ask that you please try using a different email address to send us a message, or try sending me a message on Instagram. Instagram is terrible. Messaging us on Instagram and Facebook Messenger is really super a last resort, because we miss them all the time. Their messaging system is terrible. For larger accounts, when you've got so many people on an account, like followers, etc., so many people messaging, and you know, if you post anything and you get all of these notifications, if we're not connected in the right way, I miss the notification, and then it is literally gone, and it's very easy to miss. So it's really last case scenario. Best way to get a hold of us is email. But again, if you don't hear back from us within a couple of days, because I know Hannah is my head admin here at Evertote, but you need to know that she does not work full-time here. She is currently working on her doctorate at school. She's doing a big fancy pants degree, and so she works for me as much as she can. She works from home on Monday. She answers emails for a few hours on Mondays, but she's not in the office again until Wednesday. She does Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So if it's not Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, or a few hours on Monday, chances are you might have to wait a few days for a reply. We're also pretty busy, so it might take a day or 2 for us sometimes to get back to you as well. So yeah, that was about email. Okay, next up, Floss Club. Floss Club, Roxy Floss Co. We now have a brand new option to choose just 1 month. and it can be whenever you want. So it is now a listing in the Floss Club section. So when you look at our website, on the very top of the website, there is there's a bar, right, with all of the different sections of the website. There's a section for the Roxy Flossco Floss Clubs. If you click on there, you've got the option for the subscriptions, which is, you know, the Brights Moderns pack, there's the Neutrals pack, and then, or you can do the combo where you get both Brights, Modern, and Neutral pack. Then there is another option that's brand new that you can choose just to purchase 1 month of a Floss Club. It is a surprise, it's a surprise what we send you, meaning that it's floss that has not been released. You might get your choice of which one you get. You won't get to see what the floss is, it'll be a surprise. But if you'd like to try the club, see, the way that the billing works is every month on the 15th, it's an automatic subscription. We have 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month subscriptions. So you sign up for whichever club subscription that you want, and then your credit card is automatically billed on the 15th of the month. So if you purchase your Floss Club on the 10th, you will be included with the people whose subscription, you know, pays on the 15th. If you buy your subscription on the 16th or the 17th, you are not in line to get your floss until the following month. I know it's it's annoying, but with so many orders in the system, we can't keep track of that because it's marked as scheduled. It doesn't come up as an invoice for us to fulfill, and so it doesn't get shipped with Floss Club when it's marked as, okay, it hits the 15th of the next month, everybody else pays, then your order gets marked as, oh, you guys need to send this floss out now to this person. If that's confusing in any way, just let me know, but that's how it works. The 15th of the month, everybody pays, and then by the end of that month, we send out the floss for the next month. If you purchased when we initially began the club 1 year ago, your subscription is coming to an end. If you would like to continue your subscription, if you'd like to renew it, the easiest way for you to do that is to email Hannah, because it's easiest for us to renew your subscription on our end rather than you purchasing a new subscription. Because the way that the subscription service works, if you purchase a new subscription, it actually takes a number away from the number of subscriptions that I have available. Whereas if we can just renew your subscription, it still counts as the original subscription. I know. The hoops that you have to jump through sometimes with these, you know, every company does something a little bit differently, so you have to make sure you're following, this company wants you to do this, and this company wants you to do this. Anyway, if you'd like to renew your Floss Club, just give Hannah an email, hannah@evertote.ca. While we're talking about floss, mini hanks. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have added in so many new colors into our mini hanks section. So let me give you the details on our mini hanks because they are 10% discount. So if you purchase a mini hank, you are automatically getting 10% off the cost of that amount of floss. If there's a color that you would love to see in a mini hank that you don't see available, feel free to email us, because chances are if we have a large hank of it available, we might be able to break that down into a mini hank for you. No promises, but we might be able to, if it's one of the more popular colors. So let's see what we've got here so I can read you the description. Mini hank. Mini hanks. Ooh, the internet's a bit slow in this front room here. 42 grams, minimum of 42 grams of gorgeous Roxy Flossco floss in our most popular colors. So the 4 colors that we had originally in the shop were Planetarium, Phthalo Red, Charcoal, and Chalkboard. 42 grams. Now we are Canadian, so that is a metric measurement. 42 grams will yield approximately 24 this is hilarious. This is very Canadian, let me tell you this. We're mixing up metric and imperial here because we're Canadian, and this is really literally what we do all the time. It depends on what you're talking about, whether you're talking in metric or imperial. So this is hilarious to me because this is a perfect example. So 42 grams will yield approximately 24 cards, which is 8 yards. Now 8 yards is more than meters. So I think it works out to like 7.34 meters if you want to do imperial versus metric. So 8 yards of floss. So 42 grams will yield approximately 24 cards, 8 yards worth of floss, or 192 yards of 6-strand over-dyed cotton. So that's what you're getting with a mini hank. Now, I'm just going to read you this because it's great information. Overdyed by hand in small batches, this floss is awesome. Please ensure that you are ordering the amount needed, as duplicating dye lots is a tricky business, and the next batch of this colorway may vary slightly. Typically, you can get approximately 1,800 full crosses per Roxy Flossco 8-yard skein when stitching with 2 threads, or approximately 3,600 crosses per 8-yard skein when stitching with 1 thread. We generally include that information in every floss listing. The other thing that I wanted to mention about our mini hanks, because this is really, this is important information for cutting and prepping it. Because those of you who have purchased mini hanks before from other sellers, they might dye their mini hanks as the mini hank. We pull our mini hanks from a larger hank. So we are already redistributing the dye for you. So it's really easy to cut and prep for stitching, because sometimes if you buy a hank that has been dyed and then sold, you're getting the beautiful dye, but you're getting it all in one spot, right? So you're getting it as it came out of the dye pot. And the way that I cut it, if you cut it on 2 ends and you just use your length, it's all going to be the same, right? You're going to have your variegation that's going to look the same from the top to the bottom of your thread. Whereas Carrie dyes a huge hank. Our big hanks come in, well, it works out to about 70 cards worth of floss. And so what she does is she breaks down 70 to 76 skeins. I know it works out to about 24 when they're individual. So the numbers we're working with weight, right? So you might get a few extra yards, but we always measure them out before we send them out. Generally, they're a little bit generous. Because we start with a bigger hank and then we wind off the mini hanks, the dye is being redistributed from its original dye job to your mini hank. So it's the dye is already redistributed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the end of this video, I'm going to pop in some photos of our new colors so that you can have a peek at them and see if there's maybe one in there that you fall in love with. The other thing I'm going to be doing is in the next week, I'm going to be doing a very quick little tutorial video on how to handle a mini hank of floss, how to prepare it for stitching, how to open it up, how to cut it, how to remove the lengths of floss that you need in order to card them down into more manageable amounts and prepare them for stitching. So be on the lookout for that. I hope to do it in the next week. Okay, so that's all I needed to tell you about floss. That's it, Roxy Flossco Floss. It is our very favorite floss around here. Hands down, we love it. And it's it's in everything I'm stitching now. So yeah, I love it. Okay, so I was gonna talk to you about the holiday countdown later, so it's a good thing I made my list and changed that. So now I'm gonna tell you about the coffee stitch along. C is for coffee. This is a pattern, and I'll pop in a photo here of what we have available. This is the C is for Coffee chart by Beth Twist Heartstring Samplery. and I'm going to be hosting another stitch along. So just like the holiday countdown, the holiday 2022 countdown, those videos are going to be available over on my other channel, which is Off the Grid Needlearts. And I hope to do, I'm not going to do a daily video. I'm going to do an every other day video. So every other day, I'm going to do a short sort of crafty video, which is going to include the stitch along. So we're going to be stitching along together, but it's also going to be a little bit of a little catch up as well. So we'll chat about other projects that I'm working on as well. And I always find that really fun. That's my favorite part of daily videos, is seeing, you know, daily progress on what I'm working on and how that sort of, you know, translates into, you know, real time, day to day. So that's kind of my favorite part. And, you know, connecting with you guys doing those videos. It's just a lot of fun. So that stitch along is going to start on February 14th. It's a Valentine's Day present to ourselves. So see us for coffee if you're a coffee lover. I think I've got 24 full sets left. The full set includes a small project bag, a wooden needle minder, all the floss. It's a Roxy Floss Co. conversion. It includes linen and it includes the chart. So all of that is in the full kit. And again, I think I've got 24, in between 20 and 24 full sets left, and that's it. Then they're sold out. But we do have lots of individual floss packs as well. I think we did a floss and linen set as well. If we didn't do a floss and linen set, then let me know, because I'm going to be stitching it on Snickerdoodle. And it's a custom cut of linen. You're just getting a small piece of linen. It's not a, you don't have to buy an 1/8 or a 1/4. We've worked out our yardage so that each yard is being cut into 12 pieces, which gives you, no matter if you're stitching 28 count or 40 count, everybody's going to have enough room on this particular piece. That's why we were able to keep the price the same. Everybody's just getting the same. If you're stitching on 40 count, you'll have a little extra linen. If you're stitching on 28 count, it'll fit nicely right in the middle there. So yeah, also, I don't have extra charts available unless you buy the full kit, but you can easily purchase the PDF of this chart directly from Beth Twist's website. It's www.heartstringsamplery.com. And you can buy a chart from her, and you can use your own floss. You can use whatever you want. I just want to do a stitch along. So you can either, you know, purchase the stuff that we have to do it with a Roxy Floss Co. conversion, or you can, you know, pull it out of your stash. I think this chart was released last year. It's a fairly new one. Pull it from your stash, pull linen and floss from your own stash, and join in with us. I do have a hashtag. I can't remember what it is. I think I talked about it in another video. I honest to goodness can't remember what it is. I've written it down somewhere. It's probably in the listing. I'll have a look and see if I can find it. But yeah, I hope you'll join me. February 15th is when we're going to start. We are shipping, we're shipping out the supplies this week and probably early next week if you've ordered recently, and we'll get those out the door to you. Okay, next thing I wanted to tell you about. We have some new charts in the shop. We have 4 new charts in the shop as of yesterday, brand new. So I'm going to start with a new designer to Evertote. Her name is Roz Clark Crafts. And her chart is called All Is Good in the Spinsterhood. And it's such a great chart. It's so fun. And I met Roz Carrie and I met Roz, and we have a few other UK designers in the shop now. Ruthie, Crow's Feet Stitching, as well as Kelly from Cosford Rise Stitchery, and Chloe, Girl with a Gavel. And so Roz Clark, I met her at the same time as meeting the other women, and it was a really fun group. They all have you know, sitting in a room with all of those beautiful English accents is, yeah, it was a lot. It was just, you know, you just sit there and you just listen and lose your train of thought because the accents are so nice. Isn't that funny? So anyway, Roz, this is my first time bringing her chart into the shop. I hope you love it. Hannah did a Roxy Flossco conversion for it. It's a great chart, so check it out. I will have posted a photo of it here. I don't have, the physical copies are on their way. I've got them at the printer at the moment. I don't have them yet. So if you do purchase it, it is still technically kind of a pre-order, but as soon as they come in, we'll be able to ship them out. My printer's pretty good. I usually have things from him within a week, so shouldn't take too long. Okay, so that's all about Roz Clark Craft. Oh, I should also let you know, if you love that chart and you want to stitch it, she's got PDFs available on her Etsy shop, Roz Clark Craft. And yeah, so you can purchase a PDF from her shop, and we have floss packs listed separately as well. And again, I'll have links to everything down below. Okay, so my good friend Ellen has done it again. We've got 3 new smaller charts that we're releasing that Ellen has designed. They're so fun. So I am going to show you this. I spent quite a bit of time on this one in our Flosstube video. So I'm going to start with this one, but I'll just, I'll be brief about this one. This is the Road Leads Home, and it is tiny and perfect. Tiny and perfect. The design for Road Leads Home was inspired by a pair of silk shoes that belonged to my grandmother. They are embroidered with flowers, birds, and butterflies, are impossibly tiny. The quote is from C.S. Lewis, the author of the beloved Narnia series of books. While Lewis was referring to the path to heaven, I interpret it as more of a keep your eyes on the prize, a call to resist the distractions that keep you from your goals. Fine sentiment, but difficult to execute, especially in the age of multiple devices demanding our attention. All we can do is our best. In the end, whether our paths are direct or more circuitous, the worst that can happen is that we end up in a forest surrounded by butterflies, birds, and flowers. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, I love it. Love it. Second chart from Ellen. Look at this amazing. The Ravens at Castle Kerr. Just phenomenal. Amazing. So let me read you a little bit about this design. The Ravens at Castle Kerr is an homage to the home of my maternal ancestors, the Kerrs, who arrived in Scotland in the late 11th century and settled in the Borders region of Scotland near Jedburgh around the 1300s. And there's a whole bunch of really fascinating information about the castle itself and a great, story behind the chart. But just about the plaid that's in the bird. The plaid used in the raven in my design is not the Kerr tartan. I chose to create a more generic plaid so as not to make the design specific to my family, but more a nod to Scotland in general. The Kerr tartan is pictured below in the book, and of course it was black and white. So oops, we printed that in black and white. So if you want to see a color version of the Kerr tartan, you'll have to look online. Now again, as with all of our printed charts, we do not sell the PDFs now. We used to sell the PDFs of Ellen's charts, but then she got her very own website. You can find the PDFs to all of Ellen's designs, Maximum Cross Stitch. You can find them, if you prefer PDFs to stitch with, MaximumCrossStitch.com. So you can purchase the PDFs directly from Ellen, and we also offer a floss only option. So if you buy the PDF from Ellen, you can always purchase a floss pack from us. But again, we do carry the physical charts because lots of stitchers still prefer having a paper copy. So that is the Ravens at Castle Kerr. Fantastic. Those color blocks, they're always so fun to stitch. What a fun chart. I love it. And the last of the 3, and I think this is a version of a design that, or something that Ellen had stitched a long time ago, because I know I've seen this, I've seen her stitch this before. Here, I'll show it to you instead of me looking at it. This is Dorothy's Vase. and it's fantastic. So this is why. Okay, I have seen this before. I've seen her original from her grandma. That's what I've seen. Okay, let me show you the back. See that there? That's her grandma's stitching. This design is a loose adaptation of a piece of embroidery done by my grandmother, Dorothy Reed. I'm not sure when she would have stitched it, but likely in the 1930s. The original is done in cross stitch, but oriented like a T instead of an X. It appears as she used 3 strands of floss on linen. I loved the colors she used and the black vase with tassels, but wanted to add a bit more detail. So Ellen has stitched the model on 40 count porcelain from Roxy Floss Co, and she used 1 strand of Roxy Floss Co floss over 2. And again, there's a floss list on the back. Now, Ellen does include, just FYI, in all of Ellen's charts, she also includes a DMC conversion list. So if you'd like to purchase just the physical chart and stitch it with your own floss, you can easily do that. Or you can purchase a PDF from Ellen and use DMC. All of her charts come with a DMC conversion list. You should know that because, you know, not everybody wants to use an over-dyed floss, and DMC is a lovely floss. So you don't have to worry. Don't be afraid of these charts because we're always talking about Roxy Floss Co. Ellen always includes a DMC conversion. So there you go. Okay, so that is Dorothy's vase, and those are the 3 brand new maximum cross stitch charts that we have available. And as you can see, I have them in my hot little hands from the printer. They're ready to go. And the PDFs are live on Ellen's site, MaximumCrossStitch.com. Okay, Hearthside Craftworks and accessories. I spoke in great detail, much more detail than I intended to about Hearthside in our Flosstube video today. So I'm really gonna try hard not to totally repeat myself, but it is really important that I do repeat myself about the wait list. If you are currently on our wait list and you have not paid, please do check your emails for an email from Hannah sent out a couple of days ago. Check your spam folders if you haven't seen it. We have reached the point now where we have shipped everything from the beginning of our list for the people who have paid. We are now in a holding now, I say that because there are a couple of people who will not have received their shipping notification. We have a wait list. Those of you who are on it know how to access it. I have a link to the wait list. If you're on it, you have a password. If you can't remember what that password is, email us and we will send it to you again. Link to the wait list is going to be in the drop-down box below. Please go and check it. If you've paid and you're off the wait list, that means your stand is coming. It's on its way. Except for 2 people who I've emailed, you know why you're still on the wait list, because of your crossbar, and the crossbar is being stained today. It's coming next week, but again, we've already spoken. Your name is still at the very top of the wait list. But we're at a point where I have product, I have stands ready to go, and I have people who have paid, but there's a huge chunk of wait list now of people who haven't paid, and you're still technically before them because you've been waiting for a long time. So we really need to know, and we really need you to pay. I'm sorry. So I know that we've probably gotten through the wait list a little bit quicker than people were expecting, but this is the situation we now find ourselves in. We were, we were on it. We got those stands out the door. So please email us. If you've changed your mind, please let us know. No judgment, doesn't matter. Like, we're totally happy that you've been on the wait list, and we're happy that if you've changed your mind, it's no longer in the cards for you, or you've decided against purchasing one, you don't want one anymore, totally fine. But please just let us know so that we can move on to ship out stands for people who are waiting for them. We have some new accessories. My husband, who makes these stands, my John, he loves tinkering and coming up with new ideas. He's very creative, he's very inventive. And so he designed an iPad adapter or a tablet adapter, and a smartphone adapter for the Mark II. So we have a tablet adapter and an I keep calling it an iPhone, I'm sorry, a smartphone. It'll fit any kind of phone. It'll fit a smartphone, it'll fit a tablet or an iPad. Now I've got the biggest size iPad, and I did that purposely because my vision is so bad. If I have a PDF chart that I want to read, I use GoodNotes for my PDF charts that I'm stitching from. And I can blow it way, way, way up, and the screen is big. So because I keep my fabric quite close to my face when I'm stitching, it means that I don't have to put my glasses back on to see my chart. So if I'm stitching something else, like I should show you my setup for Buckleberry Manor. For Buckleberry Manor, I make a working copy of the physical chart, and I do this with lots of charts that have a lot of color changes or a lot of counting work in them. Instead of having to look back and forth to my pattern a lot, I will make a working copy and I will fold the page in half and I will stick it right to my project with a needle minder. Because I use scroll frames, there's enough tension on my work that it will hold my paper with a needle minder right on my work, and that way my vision, I can be looking right at the stitching as well as the pattern at the same time. So this tablet adapter will fit the largest iPad with a case. I've got my iPad in a case and the adapter still fits that. So that has been an amazing addition. I use it every single day. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And he's also come up with a smartphone adapter for the lap frame as well. So I will be doing product videos for these coming in the next few weeks. I did do you might have noticed I have a video up now for the Mark II assembly video. That's just the basic floor frame, the way that it comes. All of the accessories that are on top, we have the ability for you to convert both the floor frame and the lap frame to be able to use snap frames like Q-Snap. We have the ability to do that. We've got an adapter kit that you can purchase that comes with, you need a stabilizer bar. So what that does basically is it attaches the two towers together, the two towers of the lap frame. The stabilizer bar attaches them together, and then we use brackets. I'm gonna take this one off of my, this is a large bracket, okay? So it looks like this. And so the ones for the Q-snaps or the snap frames is slightly smaller than this, and they fit into this. One fits into the sidebar and one fits into the top stabilizer bar, and they clamp onto your Q-snap. But because they're in the arm and the stabilizer bar, you still have full use of the flip frame mechanism. So I'm actually going to pop a photo in here. The customer who received our very first snap adapter kit with her lap frame, she was so thrilled. She posted on the Facebook group, Trish posted on the Facebook group that we shipped it on Monday. I think she had it by Friday. And she was so excited. She said, I've been telling my husband all about it, and he said I was so in love with it that, because she'd named it Stan the Stand, he said she was so in love with it that she should name it Colin Firth. So we had a good laugh about that. And then another member of our Facebook group, Jer said to her, she said, oh yeah, she said you should name it Mr. Darcy. And so Trish printed out a little a Dymo label maker, and her stand has now been renamed Mr. Darcy. So I'm going to pop in a photo here. Trish did say that I could share it. So I'm going to pop in a photo here. You can kind of see how it fits together with a Q-snap in it. And of course you can have a quick peek at Trish's beautiful work. And yeah, so the flip frame mechanism works. So you don't have to remove the Q-snap or anything like that. And you just flip it to the back and you've got easy access to the back of your work. Having a stand hold your work it just takes all of that pressure off the hand that is holding the frame. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of weight, and if you're used to it, you're used to it. But once you get used to not having to hold the frame in one hand and stitch with the other, you'll notice that over time, you know, you're gonna, for me anyways, it's been a game changer, because I was starting, over the years, I used to be able to hold a Q-snap no problem in my left hand and stitch. But then I noticed that even with a small amount of time spent with it, I was having quite a bit of pain in my hand, especially in my thumb. And it was aggravated. It wasn't caused by holding the snap, but it was aggravated by having to hold the snap. And so being able to have a frame to hold the snap, the Q-snap for me, meant that I could take all of the pressure off my hand, and I could stitch with two hands, which is faster than stitching with one hand. I mean, that's debatable. Many people will argue that the sewing method is even faster. So I'm not here to debate what's faster. It was faster for me to stitch two-handed. So this bracket is a large bracket. These are the brackets that work to hold a tension rod frame like Millennium or Omnic. And so mine's not stained yet because I was so anxious to use it. I stole it from John and I started testing them out immediately. So Carrie and I had a really good conversation about the large brackets in our Flosstube video. So I'm not gonna repeat myself here. And again, I am gonna have a product video out hopefully sooner rather than later. You know, there's only so much time in the day and there's a lot of videos to make. So if you've got any questions about these, you can email us at any time. Caroline@evertote.ca or Hannah@evertote.ca. We are also, Daniel here at the workshop is going to be taking over some of our Hearthside correspondence. So you may start hearing from Daniel answering your questions about our products. He is the one who puts them all together, tests them out, and then takes them all apart and packages them for shipping. So he's becoming a bit of an expert on the Hearthside stands. So those are the accessories. Maximum, if you're interested in a floor frame, important thing to remember is it needs to be wider than the chair that you usually sit in to stitch, right? So the crossbar that comes with a standard frame is 36 inches. And so that's 36 inches, that's gotta come around your chair. If that's not long enough, you need to order a custom bar that's a little bit longer. We make them, John makes them up to 48 inches. There is a little bit of an extra fee to do that because it's a custom make, but we do make it. And you need to remember that your scroll rods must be 6 inches shorter than the crossbar because you need 3 inches on both sides for your flip frame mechanism to work. You need a little bit more than that if you want to make it work with a Millennium or an Omnic frame, because you've got to remember you're also adding in this width as well. So, and I did mention this on the Flosstube video, my Omnic frame, this is a 27.5-inch frame. I've got it upside down. There, you can admire my stitching again too. This is a 27.5-inch frame. You can see I've got one of my adapters is on the frame itself. And this fits perfectly on the 36-inch standard Mark II. Now, I am going to be specifically doing a video just about these adapters because I only have an Omnic. I do not own a Millennium. I only have a photo of how it attaches on the Millennium. And so there's also the issue that when you have accessories on the crossbar, like the iPad or the phone or the pattern holder, you've got knobs that are on the inside of the crossbar. And the way that this has to sit on the frame, the top of your project actually ends up just slightly resting on those knobs. And so when you have the accessories on the crossbar, you do not have full rotation of your frame, of the flip frame mechanism. But what I do is I keep it here and I stitch, and then I use the flip frame mechanism to bring it forward to me like that, and it comes down like that. And then I sew in my ends, and then I flip it back to the front to go back to my stitching. So I can't fully rotate it, but you can rotate it more than adequately to get to the back of your work. If you don't have any accessories on your crossbar, then it's a non-issue, because without accessories, without those extra knobs right on the crossbar, you've got full rotation of it. But again, I'll have detailed videos where I'm actually showing you how these things work and go together and whatnot. Okay, so I think that's it about Hearthside. Again, if you have any questions, leave me a question down below. Read through, maybe somebody else has already asked that question. I'll try to answer in a timely manner on this video, any questions that might come up. So, okay, I think that's it. Very last thing to talk about today is our holiday countdown 2023, the box. We went into great detail about our holiday countdown box on our Flosstube video at the end of the video. And so instead of repeating myself here, I'm gonna just point you to the end of the Flosstube number 7 video that tells you all of the information. We have a really good chat about the box and what's coming. It's going to be a surprise, but it'll be a little bit different than this year, but again, you're still going to have a daily package to open. It's with Jacob DeGraff, Modern Folk Embroidery, Carrie of Roxy Flosco, and me and my team here at Evertote. We are putting the box together for you. Pre-sales will begin and be live on February 1st. We'll have more information, lots of reminders before we get to February 1st. We will have some choices with counts of fabrics again, so you'll be able to pick and choose. We are doubling the number of boxes that we are offering this year over and above what we offered last year. So we hope to have enough. I know we had a lot of people who were hoping, who were disappointed they missed out last year. So we're hoping that everybody will be happy this year and manage to snag one if you're interested. We did sell out we offered 2 batches last year. We offered one in April and we offered one in August, and both times we sold out. So anyways, February 1st, full payment is required when you order the box, because that money helps me purchase all of the supplies that we need in order to ship them out to you in a timely fashion. I came to the end of my list. That's it. I have a feeling this was probably a pretty long video again. I have been recording all day. So it is now 2:30 in the afternoon and I need to go and have some lunch. And I think you know who is ready to go upstairs and find a much cushier spot than the hard floor down here. So I will say goodbye. Carrie and I fully intend to do another Flosstube video next Thursday. I know I've been talking forever today, but guess what? I still haven't shared everything with you because I received some amazing gifts at Christmas that were very special to me, and I wanted to share them with you. So I'm actually gonna sneak in a little teeny tiny Flosstube video of my own next week, early on in the week, either Monday or Tuesday, over on my other channel, Off the Grid Needlearts, so that I can share some of those things with you, and a little bit of personal information. My daughter has just left for Australia, and I've been doing some knitting. I've been doing a few other things, and so just to catch you up on the family and Luna and the special things that I received at Christmas. It's a busy street out there, let me tell you. I'm gonna do a little video all by myself early on in the week, but over on the other channel. Okay, so on that note, I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.